Hey, Christ Community Church. My name's Jay Denton. I know so many of you. I'm the pastor at Downtown Presbyterian Church. Just this last week in March, we celebrated 1 year of worshiping together as a church. And I just want to say thank you for all that you've done, both relationally and investing in our church, as we've seen the Lord get this church plant off the ground. You know, when we think about that idea of investment, we do think about the idea of giving. And the scriptures from Old Testament to New Testament give us an opportunity to go deeper in what it means to give and to invest in what the Lord's done. We see in the Old Testament the tithe, 10% of people's income given to support the Levites, the priest of the time. But we see more than that. We see God call his people to justice and mercy, to love the poor, to expand his kingdom. We see that same message in the New Testament. We don't see the Lord tell us to stop giving, but to give sacrificially, to give in a way that calls us to believe in what the Lord's doing. You know, sometimes what we have a tendency to do is to ask, well, exactly how much? Or what's the minimum that God's calling me to? But I really think that God's inviting us to experience his riches far greater than that. I think he's calling us not just to think about the amount we might give in our tithe. I think he's calling us to be spiritually formed by giving sacrificially to his work. Our church is an example of sacrificial giving. All over the state of North Carolina, really all over the country, from the West Coast to the East Coast, churches and individuals and families have given money to support the work of Downtown Pres, to help us get started, to meet the difference between our internal giving and our budget. And Christ Community actually serves as two kinds of givers to our church. There's individuals and families who've given faithfully to the work of Downtown Pres. But also your church in 2022 gave us seed money to be able to get started, one of our biggest givers that year. And so when I think about giving and I think about the history of this church for over 20 years and what you've done, the Lord has not just given you the opportunity to give, he's blessed you with that opportunity to give so that you would be a blessing. There are people who worship every Sunday morning here in the Cargo District of downtown Wilmington who you don't know their names. But because of what you've done, because of what you've given, they are experiencing the love of Jesus. Taken from the scriptures from the Old to the New Testament, here into Wilmington, through your giving and through your faithfulness, God is at work. And he's going to do the same thing with this building campaign. He's going to fill it up with people who are worshiping him because he's chosen to give you the blessing to give sacrificially. Again, thank you so much for all that you've done for this community. Thank you for all that you've done for our church. And I'm excited to see what the Lord does in the life of Christ Community in this next season.